I always liked this when I first was introduced to it. It goes, why are you unhappy? Because 99.9% of everything you think and of everything you do is for yourself, and there isn't one.
Paul, I'm gonna mute also.
Try to remember that statement as we go along today. Try to remember that statement as we go along today. That was pretty interesting. It sounded like music from India.
Can you hear me, Paul?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah, gotcha. How are you? All good?
Good.
So, Paul, I have a question for you. So,
Wow,
in the Eastern traditions, right? The true wisdom.
I'm from Eastern traditions, New York City.
There you go. But in way far east, foreign countries, in Eastern spirituality, in Eastern religions, the true wisdom, the true knowledge is said to come from the heart. Hopefully this is on topic. How does that apply to the message as Paul, the action figure, sees it? And what part does love and compassion play in all this?
Love and compassion they're expressions and not something to attempt to arrive at. They're expressions from where you already are. Yes?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, in my view, see, the idea of wanting to become, let's say, love and compassion can be prefaced on a belief that you're not love and compassion. Yes? So right there and then, the footing is off in my view. So I find love and compassion are expressions from what you already are and from where you already are. Yeah. So you'll observe them. You won't work towards them. You'll observe them expressing. And what was the other one? The heart. Well, the heart is the heart.
The knowledge from the heart.
Yeah, the heart implies, let's say, something other than the head in some cases. Yeah, it's not obviously a physical organ, and the heart would be, to some people I find who I've run into, it's more of an emotive, love felt space. Now, again, to me, what I'm concerned or interested in it is to see how much, when we're speaking about the heart, it's coming from an identification as the head. Yeah.
Got it.
So I don't care about the heart. You'll find out all about that, but you're not going to find out about it from the head. So I just want to point out the efficacy and the speed of the mental processes, slipping a narration in before the living. Yes. It's actually after the living, but it implies it's the one that's living, so it's before. That's what I'm interested in, because I went in, I as an action figure story, I had an interest in that kind of in spirituality, and I was sincere and earnest in many, many cases. Yet, in hindsight, when I reflect on it, there was something there I wasn't aware of, which was this idea of selfing, implying I was the one that was on the spiritual path. So if the one is already set in place and then you're going to try to get out of the one, to me, that's more one, in my view. I mean, the one is Paul, not the one as everything. So I just would like to, I'm just interested in I'm not interested in it, but the seed assignment plays a role of like warning. I'm just attempting to warn others, because I really wished I would have been warned, or I would have run into that information while I was out there. But of course, it went the way it went. So I would like to just point out as a warning, almost like if spirituality was something you smoked, like, and it was a cigarette pack, it would be like that, you know, a warning, a spiritual warning on the pack said this could be, you know, dangerous to your fucking spiritual health. So that's all I'm really inclined to sort of get into. Yeah. Are you there, Bill?
I'm here. I'm here. I've been listening.
Yeah.
Has the attributes, or I'm not sure how you explained love and compassion, has that increased for Paul, who sits here as the action figure?
Well, that's more of a moment-to-moment thing. I would say where it comes from doesn't increase, but your expressions, you being an expression of it and an observation of it can, yes. But yeah.
Thanks, Paul.
Yeah. Again, this is what I really like to emphasize, is we could now, which would be beautiful in a way, we could now set up the meeting based on the Eastern traditions and the idea of living from the heart. And it sounds great, but there's something that's going on when that's being introduced, which is there's an identification of the one who's the heart, or the one who's this or that, yeah? And so basically, when we don't see that shadow, it has a huge influence as we go, yeah? That's my sense. And I feel its influence is so profound that without seeing it, you're going to be looking from it, yeah? And so why go to, like, you know, the incredible description of the 100th square of the spiritual journey, like a Monopoly board, when the whole game is framed and interpreted from that first square, that 0 square. I would just like to see what I'm not, so that basically there's a sense of what I am, yeah? Instead of searching for it and thinking I'm getting certain smells of it and I'm on the scent, I would rather, because when it becomes obvious to you, maybe one of the downloads will be, it's always been this way. Like nothing has ever happened to change this way or add distance from it or actually close the distance to it. It's just there, yeah? It's there, untouched, unaffected by all this freaking seeming movement. It's there, and it's never not been there. And so, you get a hit of it. You get a hit of it. It's not separate,
right? It's not separate.
There is no there is period no separation.
Exactly.
There's appearing to be separation. It's an appearance of separation. There is no separation. It's an appearance of separation. But if that which is separate hears that there's no separation, it doesn't go well. That which is assuming it's separate tries to get that there's no separation as a separate idea, doesn't work. So you just turn the investigation on that, and then you'll find out what's going on, yeah?
Yes.
You don't need the mental flashlight of knowing, yeah? You'll find out in the unknowing of it. The unknowing of it is probably the greatest approach to knowledge there is. And you can't fake uninterest. You can't go, oh, now I've heard these subtle talks and I realize I've got to be uninterested in that goal of waking up. So now you start trying to feign uninterest. That's interest. Yeah, you can't get out of what you think you're in. You have to see you're not in it, really. You're not going to get out of what you think you're in through the same mechanism that's reinforcing what you think you're in. I don't see it working. So where's the solution? The solution is where there is no problem. Yes, because if there's a solution where the problem is, it's diametrically dualistic. So now, all right, I've applied to a solution to the problem, And then suddenly that solution becomes a part of the problem. Just look what happens. People start meditating and they start getting relief from, let's say, mental anxiety. But now, if they miss the morning meditation, they believe their whole day is going to suck. Yeah, because they didn't meditate that day. That's insanity. That's what I'm speaking about. Yeah, there's so in some circles, it's gotten so subtle that there's a lot of activity of selfing to acquire non-selfing attributes. So I'm using non-self to be a cooler, traveling lighter self. Yeah, it's just, it doesn't work in my view. So when we speak about separation, are we speaking about something that completely believes in separation? Or because usually that's the only thing that wants to speak about separation, is that if you're in that wholeness, then you'll see what separation is, which it isn't. It's an appearance that's coming and going. Yeah, it's an assumed reality based on a lot of other assumptions. And I don't see the point of moving into, like, graduate classes on spirituality if the fundamentals aren't noticed. Yeah. And to me, people who I respect, like, let's say, Ramana Maharshi, he seems to say the same thing in all the people who wrote about his teachings. This idea is always in it. It's usually prefaced as the problem, the greatest mystery. The greatest mystery is reality wanting to attain reality. That's an incredible mystery. Yeah. So the greatest mystery is that which is completely untouched by any dualism or separation, wanting to get out of separation. Yeah. That which we are isn't in separation. That which we're not believes in separation, and it gets to such a point it may believe that separation is the problem and it sucks. So now I start wanting to be whole and a unity with all and this and that, but as the long-lasting, independent, separate thing. I just don't see it goes well. Yeah. So I wasn't hearing this, even though I may have read it. So something came downloaded in here and said, hey, all right, you've hit the point. Let's not leave that point, because if it isn't noticed, you're going to be looking from an effect, yeah, thinking it's the cause, and that's that's why. So,
Paul, was it immediate, or was it a process? Did it get stronger, the confidence in the message?
Well, you can say it's immediate, and then it got stronger. Yeah, it's always immediate, and yet in the artistic interpretation of it, it gets stronger. In my sense, I've sat here like thousands of times, this action figure, and something has moved through that I know is not of the action figure. It's not of the mental state, and I've observed it for thousands of times and listened to it in a sense, but not for the words, but for there's some energy there. And yeah, the action figure got clearer about its role. Yeah, I remember when I was out there coming and speaking about there was nothing to get, the action figure still believed there was something to get. So it was going to all the talks, oh, there's nothing to get. And the action figure was waiting patiently. And then it had a rude awakening. There's nothing to get. And the action figure was sort of like, well, do I really want to go to that talk? You know what I mean? And then it saw its real role. It saw its real role in this thing. And it has nothing to do with the action figure. And I hope no one thinks that Paul has anything, because that's a big mistake. Yeah. Something, do not please. It's in self-centeredness. A way of missing the message is by putting a lot of attention on the messenger. That doesn't go well. Yeah. Paul is just going to come and go, and yet something is moved through, and hopefully it has registered or resonated in that which has never come in you. That's all. That's all we're trying to do. We're trying to get through the obstacle called Paul and Richard and Lee to get to what we are. Yeah, we're not talking to any of these squares. We're talking through the squares to that which is unsquared, so to speak. Yeah, so that's the whole point. And you know, I've observed a lot. I'll tell you something. I sat around. What I've learned is give Paul small tasks. Give Paul small goals. Give Paul, let him meander around the backyard. I really feel in observation, the conundrum is, how do we lose interest in that which we're interested in? Yeah. You can't do it through it. Yeah. So you can't set out on a course to try to lose interest in yourself. That would be interest in yourself. It has to seemingly come about in another manner. And I would say the way of negation is what's worked with me. Yeah. So instead of trying to lose interest as Paul, I lose interest in Paul. That's all. Yeah. It's really pretty simple. And what does it look like to lose interest in Paul? Paul doesn't get taken so seriously. That's all. Yeah. And all that's used to amplify and project Paul, the thoughts and the memories, there's been a loss of interest in all that. Yeah. And I've even lost interest trying to tell people, well, where did the interest go, or how it, you know, I've lost interest in observing what's happened to the interest, where it's resting or whatever. Right. I've lost interest in that. You know, I'm just here, you know, stumbling and bumbling my way through another Zoom session.
It's fun though. It's fun. It's good. It's fun. Thank you.
Yeah.
Ready for the next question from Sky?
Yes.
Go ahead, Sky.
What are your favorite colors? Green, blue. I like green.
Hi, Paul.
Hey, Sky, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Good to see you.
Good. I don't see you yet, but it's good to see you. Hold on. Let me see if I can find you. But go ahead. I can hear you.
Here we go.
Oh, here you go.
I really resonated with what you just said about giving myself small tasks to do. That seems to work best instead of big, grand schemes. You know, like baking cookies is good. Doing some laundry.
Eating cookies is.
Yeah, raking, riding my bike. Those are all great activities. Yeah. I had a question about, you were speaking the other day about the space of abstinence. And I wonder if you could talk a little bit about that in terms of, I have this addiction to the news, you know, and checking up what's happening in the news, especially now.
But the news isn't new.
Okay. I mean, when I check it, it's like it agitates me, you know, and it doesn't feel good. Yeah.
Well, it doesn't agitate you; it agitates the action figure. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's almost like an entertainment. It's not even like I care about what's happening. It's sort of like an entertainment.
Yeah. You get to be about some stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. The head loves right.
That's all.
Oh, yeah. That's what it does, eh? The Course in Miracles, if you know the Course a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
The Course, and I'm not, you know, I just like the Course by my relation when I had a very short-lived relationship with it, but it was very fruitful, let's say. Yeah.
Okay.
It explained a lot and brought a lot of laughter. So the Course has this idea of guilt, yes? And really prefaced on this belief that we've separated from something, God, let's call it, yeah? Which is impossible, but there's the belief. So the belief is we've separated and we're guilty about that, yeah?
Okay.
And so we're trying to unload our guilt in this dreaming by making other people worse than us a lot of the time. So we can have an innocent face because look at this fucking perpetrator, or look at this, look at that. So there's a certain tastiness for the mental state, yeah? It likes, oh, look at how fucking bad this is or that is, and it gets a little, well, I'm not that bad, so, you know? So you try to get relief of this, like, it's almost like an atmospheric guilt. It's definitely the weather front of self-centeredness, yeah? The weather front of self-centeredness, it doesn't matter cloudy or rainy, there's always this weather front of guilt, like a little guilt there, yes?
Right, right.
So that self-centeredness is trying to get out from underneath that which it's creating or making, yeah? It doesn't see that it's the making of it and that there has never been a separation. Yeah. But yet, yes. So the point isn't another methodology to allay or release guilt unless it's super, super high. Then you need a skillful means, is to see the basis of that all guilt rests on isn't true. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just not true. So then the Course, and I may be screwing their whole intention up, so forgive me, Course in Miracle advocates, but there's a sense of atonement. So atonement is that nothing ever happened, really. So there was no separation, none of this occurred. It's dreaming, yeah? So that which believed it's separate is dreaming of separation and trying to get relief, but it's sort of like, it's what's producing the shit and wants to get relief from the shit, yeah? To the point where the relief is part of the shit after a while, yes? So hopefully you run into this, you don't have any idea of what it means, but when you hear something, it registers something, yeah? And you go, wait a minute, like a dog, your head cocks and then you almost like this, as if you hear a different frequency for once, not the horizontal, but something comes in and you're up to, you know, you become conscious of something that you were seemingly unconscious of, yes? Yeah. So then hopefully after having your little trail interrupted so many times, you start seeing the blueprint in a way, and you see, wait a minute, so how can, you'll see it and put it this way, how can I escape from an imaginary place? So all the guilt and shit I felt about not being good enough or getting out or getting this wasn't because of my failures. It was impossible. I can't escape from an imaginary place.
Okay.
Wow, what happens? Huge weights that you don't see are being carried drop off. I'm not talking about all there is awareness. I'm talking about the action figure. The action figure starts traveling later. Yeah. And basically, after observing against its own wanting, that it doesn't want to see it because it can't have anything really to do with it, so it tries to block it off. But the fact is, it overwhelms it that I'm traveling lighter, and you see, you really had nothing to do with it. You're just a form of expressing it. Yeah. Wow. So now, you as being the cause of all this stuff gets weakened. Yes. And now things lay a different way, and it's a lot nicer to travel through. Yes. Yeah. And then really you hit a point where it's all summed up with what else, what more do you want? Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, all your like goals like that are impossible, you know, the target gets dropped, and it's sort of like, yeah, hey, if I can't do no harm, do less harm. You know what I mean? Whatever. There's expressions that yet there's no forceness in it. There's no doing it. There's none of this. You've recognized the futility of all that. Yeah. And there's a now the weather front changes. Instead of this guilt and this, because the weather front is always implying there's worse weather ahead, but it never really moves. But it has this illusion of time, so you're thinking it's always going to be like this and all this shit. That changes. Now presence is the atmosphere. Yeah, yeah. You're in the atmosphere of what's before all the shenanigans, not, you know, like a shelter in the storm. You're sheltered before the storm, in a sense. Yeah, and then you see your role in all the storms, and this just starts falling into place without much thought or effort. If you want to call it a path, it's called living day to day. Yeah, the living shows you a lot. Why would I want to sign up for an intensive? It's intense enough to live where I am for a day. What, I want to pay $150 to go to an intensive? Fuck, I've been in one for 60 something years. You know, I mean, it's lost its allure. Yeah, because it's the last answer in this adventure of the action figure. The last answer. Yeah. Something hit in my gut, and then it played itself out over these years. And I could actually, in this place as an action figure, I can say it's the last answer. And it has a quality no answer ever else had, which is it's the last answer. I have no need for any answers concerning this topic. Zippo, zilch, yeah? If you think spirituality is a movement towards the divine, I have no sign of any spirituality in it. Not even idling, not even ready to turn on. It's done. It's flattened out like the you know, the curve has been flattened. The peak of spirituality showed me all I needed to see, and now the curve is flattened. Yeah, and I have no interest in arriving somewhere tomorrow while I'm already here now. It's just that simple. Now, I couldn't have fucking pulled that off if I tried, but I can see it, I can express it, I can observe it. Yeah, yeah. So you're in good hands, bro. I met you. You're fine, bro. Yeah.
Thanks, dude.
Yeah. You don't need permission from what you're not. You're fine. I met you years ago in that car ride. Yeah. You have an over-agitated intellect, like many of us do. You were fine that day, and you're fine today. Yes. I don't care what happened to you. The basic presence is untouched. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Thanks, man.
You're welcome, bro. It's good to see you.
Likewise. Yeah. Take care.
Next guy. Next is Shelm.
No, it should be Earth, sky, Earth, water. Yeah, that would be nice. Ocean. No, never mind. All right, who's next?
Shelm.
Hi, Shalyn here.
Shelm.
Hi.
Oh, I see you. You're in the same square box. That's nice. Great. Nice to see you.
So maybe it's kind of just semantics, but what's the difference between when you talk about what you're not versus the action figure? Is that the same thing?
The same, yeah, same.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's like the imaginary self and like the body or what do you?
Yes. Well, see, what you're not really is, I don't think the body is the starting point. It's a mental idea. Yes. Yeah. It's not a body. The idea is that there's a separate, long-lasting, independent thing, and then there's the picturing of a body. Yes?
So that's what you mean when you say what you're not.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm more interested in the body is already seemingly on the game board. I have no problem with the body.
Yeah.
What I want to look at that which is using the body to imply the doer, the feeler, the taster, the seer, the hearing. Yes. So the body is like the land, has been occupied by nouns. Yes. Yeah, and I think that's really the heaviness that the body has to live with. Yeah.
And to you, is that like a felt sense in the body, or it's like more of an idea, or?
Well, the idea of the doer becomes a felt sense. Yeah.
Right.
Because yeah. I think if you looked at, let's say, the body, and then the body, like having to travel with a mental idea hovering over it, which is you're the center of the universe, that's not very, you know what I mean? It's like putting like 800 tons in a half-ton pickup. It can't handle the weight. Yeah. Really, so the mental state is obsessing around itself, and then the poor fucking body gets a lot of the collateral damage. Yeah, because the body is being used to represent that which is obsessing, yes, and being obsessed over. So then that obsession expresses through the body, and plays on the body. Yeah. And so I feel a lot of us, if there would be a loss of interest somewhat in being the center of the universe, then there'd also be a loss of interest in, like, let's say being hypochondriac type over the body, not knowing that your own interest is making the body sicker because you put too much freaking interest in it. Yes? Yeah. So how do you back off if the only way you can, as what you're not, is trying to back off, which doesn't work. That's even more. Yeah. So I remember when I was younger, I wasn't feeling well. I had gotten run over by a car, which would cause not feeling well for a while. But they put so much antibiotics into me, it ripped up everything. Yeah. And suddenly, for a while there, my whole central universe was my intestinal tract. My interest was constantly checking out how it was going there, making it worse. Yeah. I want to give you an example. This is the insanity. So when I was younger, I was having this problem. So I tried tons of things. And of course, probiotics. There was this product they had it at Whole Foods from Canada, and it had upped the census of the beneficial flora of the civilization from 12 billion to 15 billion. So, all right. I started drinking them religiously for a year, and it was coming a 6-pack, and it'd be like 40-something bucks. And I'm trying to coax myself. I think I'm feeling better, because who wants to look like an idiot spending thousands of dollars on something that doesn't work? So I think it's getting better. And so I decided to get it tested. And back then there was a lab, people who were in this kind of new age stuff knew about it. It was called Smoky Mountain Labs in, like, I think Tennessee. And they would go through my shit, basically. Yeah. And they'd send me a paper and a thing to send 3 days of shit back to them. And I'd check off what I wanted them to check out. So parasites, back then that's all they're worried about. Yet they're living as a parasite, really. They're worried about parasites. Yeah? Check that, check all this shit out. And then they send the report back, and I'm really keen on looking at it, and I open it up. No parasites, far out, that's great. Then I get to, all right, signs of beneficial flora. And then it was 0.00000%. So there was no sign of any of the beneficial flora I had put in for a year. Cost me thousands of dollars. Trillions of beneficial flora. Where the hell did they go? I couldn't believe it. Then the next thing it explained, it says, but we did find that there was these 2 kinds of bacteria that love to eat beneficial flora. So basically, I was catering gourmet meals to these two bacterias. All the while, under this illusion, I was getting better. I was making it completely worse. Yeah. That's not random phenomena. Yeah. The interest is a very, very, very strong obscuring agent. Extremely.
It's like you can't see it when you're in it, right?
No, you're thinking you're doing the best you can
Yeah.
for yourself, but it's producing the exact opposite.
Right.
Now, maybe after 5 or 10 or 100, hopefully one of these examples, something can open up where you see not only this and this and this and this and this failed, you see the diagram of the failing, yeah? And your role in it, yes. And now you've recognized something, not from the something, but from somewhere else. Yes, that's the only way you know the solution, or you know the problem is from the solution.
Yeah.
When you get relief, yeah, that relief will tell you about the problem. Yeah, so I've had this a lot of time. Yes.
Yeah.
The own interest. It's sort of like you're trying to machete yourself through a jungle, unbeknownst to you that every swipe of the machete produces more jungle. Yeah. And you can't put down the machete. Yeah.
Right.
So you got to see you're not that which is macheting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then somehow or another, that influence of what you're not weakens and things change. Yeah. And now you see it very clearly. They did not change by my effort or thought. They changed in spite of my effort or thought.
Yeah.
Basically, they changed because I saw my effort and thought as not my effort or thought. That's when the possibility happens. Yeah.
It's such a trip how believable it's felt my whole life, even though there's only, but I mean, until like these messages started coming in my life, it wouldn't have occurred to me, I don't think.
Exactly. Well, this is dreaming.
Yeah.
Yeah. You signed up for the platinum ride. And the dilemma is, what wants to get off of the ride is the ride itself.
Such a trip.
It's impossible. Yeah. Is that it? That's good, honey.
Yeah, thank you.
Nice to see you, yes.
Yeah, you too, Paul. See you.
Mike?
Lee is next.
Lee. Hey, Lee.
Hey, Paul.
I have the same diagnosis of you as I had last week.
Well, I was going to say, if I have a question, it must be I haven't heard the last answer. But no, I've heard the last answer. I just, as you would say, I'm stubbornly proclaiming I haven't. Now, actually, I raised my hand to make a comment more than a question. When you were talking about earlier, when you said, I'm not talking to the squares, it occurred to me you're talking to the square roots.
Oh, yes, that's nice. Yes. Yeah.
But
and we're in the mathematics of negation. So 1 + 1 equals 0.
That's because there's not two.
That's true.
But it occurs to me that this idea of being separate, it is, I think, entirely due to thought, believing I'm the thinker. And absent thought, there wouldn't be separation. There would just be presence, because when thought arises, it seems to take me away from presence into thought.
See, but no. See, the presence is there, and there can be an entertaining of separation. But the presence it's not an either or.
It seems there is.
Of
It seems that when I'm lost in thought, it seems like I'm not present.
That's how it seems to what you're not, yes. See, for what you're not to be present, it can't entertain that anything else could be present. Yeah? But that doesn't pertain to what we are. What we are, everything is included in what we are. Nothing needs to be excluded. Yeah? From what you're not, it's all about exclusion. Yes?
Yes.
See, at this very moment, at this very, very moment, there's an appearance of what we call, I would call what we're not, yes? So that appearance is based on time. Yeah? Time is essential. Yeah. Then there's presence exactly now that's not of time. So time proceeds seemingly, yet always there's an intervention with timelessness, yes? So the dilemma is, in a way, it's not a dilemma, but the interest and attention is mostly about what's appearing. Yes?
Yes.
Yeah. Even when it has interest in no thing, it's having interest in no thing as a thing. So the interest is still on thingness. Yeah. And we run into this situation where some of us have got to a point, and we believe it, that there's nothing that what I not can do to arrive at where it already is. Yes? A lot of people have intellectually understood that. Yeah. But it doesn't bring about what they were hoping for as what they're not, like a relief from what they're not that stabilizes. Yeah. Because it's still held, the interest is still rooted in what you're not. In other words, you and I, as what we're not, we want to have an experience of what we are, but we want to be there to have it. Yeah. You see? Now, the only way you could describe how that emphasis on the appearing gets shifted to a more emphasis on what's already so has a lot to do with some kind of interest loss, yeah, somehow, yeah, or an interest shift. Now, what you're not can produce that interest shift, but maybe, just maybe, if enough of messages land into what you are, maybe what you are will lose interest in what you're not. Instead of trying to lose interest in what you're not as what you're not, you'll lose interest in what you're not from what you are. Yeah? That, in my observation, has worked. Yeah? So usually when there's an observing, there's usually, you observe something, yeah? And then the something is immediately used to imply the observer. Yeah. So the observing doesn't get noticed. It's like in the cheap seats. There's not much attention to it. When you get a free sample and you see that which is observed is used to imply the observer, when you see that, there's going to be a losing of interest in the observer. Yeah. Like that, like a Zen bitch slap. The thing, it's like, here's the horse, it's always in front of the cart, but we've been living as if it's the other way. It's appearing. And then suddenly there's a correction. When it's made, there was no need for it, which is you get a hit of the horse in front of the cart. And it tells you it's always been that way. This was just an imagining, yeah? Like that. You've had it before already. There's just a stubbornness in interest in what's appearing, but it's going to wane. It can't withstand this, yeah? You have been served the spiritual subpoena. No matter how much you think, like when I was out there using drugs, I thought I used to have this, I used to have a fear of going to jail, yeah, because I had gone to jail a lot, and I didn't want to go to jail anymore. And then when I came up against court cases, sometimes I put, hey, if I don't go to court, I won't go to jail. It sounded like a pretty good idea. I definitely don't go to jail, and a lot of times when I go to court, I go to jail. So let's not go to court. So I forget the court date. Now the court didn't forget the court date. I forgot the court date. And then I'm doing my own thing, and I get pulled over, and suddenly the cop wants to get my information. He spends an inordinate amount of time in the car, like 30 minutes, reading my dossier, I don't know, comes back out, and if you hear this, you're going to jail. Hey, Mr. Hedderman, will you please get out of the car? So, and I throw a little tantrum. I didn't do anything. What did I do? He says, yes, you missed a court date, and a bench warrant was issued for you. And a bench warrant means if they stop you for anything, you go right to jail. So suddenly, living by the strategy of my head, it said, all right, let's avoid jail by not going to court. Now I'm in jail, and I have 2 court dates. I don't know what that had to do with what you asked for, but do you see it? Yeah. You've been served, Lee. I'm giving you the same examination. I don't want you to come in anymore for the exam. You're fucking fine. Yeah, trust me. I've seen you from the years. The only thing is agitated is what's always agitated. Stop wasting time trying to soothe that fucking thing. Just see you're not that, and that's that, yeah?
So I just need to lose interest in going back to prison.
No, you don't need to lose any interest. Just recognize your role here, and something will move the interest around, yeah? And you'll fucking come, if it's needed, you'll know it, and if it ain't, you'll observe it later, yeah? But you're gonna have to admit, even begrudgingly to me, that you're traveling much lighter than Lee used to travel.
Yes, I am.
There you go. Let's end the quest. Let's end the square now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Paul.
Yeah, put you in the happy square section. Yeah.
Love you, Paul. Thanks.
Thank you, Lee. Yes.
Thanks. And Geraldine's next.
Who?
Oh, shoot.
We're looking for Jolene.
Is it me, Geraldine?
Oh, I don't know. Mike. Mike is the hand.
Yes, Geraldine is next.
Oh, it's Geraldine. Oh, Geraldine.
Hi, Paul. Hi, everybody.
I'm looking for Geraldine.
I think I've got.
Yes.
Yeah, it's on. Yeah, all right. Can you hear me now?
Oh, I can see. Yes, I can see you. Yes. How are you?
Hello, Paul. I have a comment and a question. First, I really liked it when you talked about being a hypochondriac, because I'm feeling the same at the moment. I had a hip problem 3 years ago. Now it seems like every step I take, I'm checking this.
Yes. Yes.
And it does get worse.
Yes.
Well, it struck me when you said it. Well, I've been thinking about it anyway, but I'm focusing on it and worsening it. But anyway, I'd like to hear it. But my question relates on what you said previously. Now it's a long time ago. You were talking to Sky, and about attaining God, and you said, now I'm quite fine where I am, or you said something in that direction. But when you say I, then what do you mean? Is it? I don't get it. Is it I? What do you mean when you say I?
I'm not saying it now, so I don't know what I mean when I say I. I probably do know what I mean when I say it. But it's just the language, honey. What am I going to do? Stand here and just go, yeah. So I indicating something or nothing, yes, yeah.
Because I heard that this was like an extra layer on what happens, what we experience when we say, I am experiencing this or that. But I can't quite imagine what it is to live without this extra layer, or how we get rid of it.
You don't want to go, hey, don't miss the forest from the trees, honey. It's what's entertaining the language, not the language. Yes?
Well, yeah.
I remember when I first started doing this, a guy got in touch with me and he was going through a project. Thank God it never went anywhere. He was going to try to change the language so it wasn't a personal pronoun language. Just wear it loosely, yeah? You know what I was pointing at when I said it, didn't you? Tell me the truth, didn't you?
But when you say I feel like it's I, like when I feel I. And when I say I pretty much feel it's the action figure.
Well, I don't, yeah.
There's something that seems so familiar when I've done lots of small exercises like looking at the window and who's looking, or if there's only vision, whatever. I've tried all that. But there's something very familiar in here that seems to be around here, in this thinking, in this whatever sense of humor I have to myself or whatever. It's not neutral. I can't explain.
So see that as not you.
But it's so much me.
Ah, see, it's so much me, and that me is not you. Without this premise, the message is predicated on that possibility. If you don't see that possibility, then the head is going to crucify you with another cross of wood called non-duality.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? And then another possibility that could have lightened the load will make the load heavier. Yes? If you love being that, then go with it, man. Seriously, because it needs the least amount of crucifixions that it can get. Yeah, you don't want to add a spiritual crucifix that you have to carry. Yeah, so yes, but if there's a belief that you're that, and then that's that, and then that's going to go through this like gymnastics of what you're not, trying to convince what you're not. It's what you're not. It's pointless. Just have more fun today. Yeah. I would go to like a cooking Zoom class or something. So at least you'll get something out of it, like some chocolate chip cookies. I'm serious, really. I mean, the head will use whatever it comes in contact with to take advantage of, as great people have said many, many times. Non-duality is not immune to that. It's going to take it and use it, yeah? And it will use it, so you see that, hold on, see that your attention on the hip isn't helping your hip. This kind of mental attention is not going to help the mental state. It's going to agitate it even more. Yeah.
That's fair enough. Although, now that I've heard there's a possibility to live in peace of mind, I want that peace of mind.
Yes. But
and I hear
jumping off the point here is to see who is that who wants that peace of mind. If it may not be you, and if it isn't you, the peace of mind may become much more readily available. That's all. That's the whole, in a sense, a message. This message is about, hopefully, at least some of the audience has been digging for something for so long and has finally realized the digging was what was keeping the shit away from it. Yeah, that disillusionment, that realization that it's not that I'm constantly in obscuring. I am the obscuring. There is an activity that's going on, in most cases unbeknownst to what it's going on through, which is selfing. That's taking the living and replacing it with an interpretation of living. Yeah? And then we live as the product of that activity of selfing. We live as a self, a long-lasting, independent, separate entity. And of course, we want to get out of a lot of the effects that are now plentiful based on that condition. But you can't get out of those conditions as the condition that is causing those conditions. That's the point. Yeah. If you're not there, seemingly or unseemingly, then find a lot of skillful means to make it a little easier for you. Yeah. Non-duality won't work in a way. Non-duality isn't like one of those Swiss Army knives. Non-duality is a fact. That's it. Yeah. If it doesn't seem like a fact, doesn't make any sense, then trying to use that fact to get relief, it probably won't produce the fact of relief. Yeah. I've seen it. So it's good to shop don't go to a library to buy a chainsaw. Yeah. Just find out because, oh man, look at the groups we're in. Do you truly believe people would have been better if they had never heard the word awakening or enlightenment? I say so, yes. Yeah. So if the head isn't being questioned, can't even be seen as maybe something that's foreign, is hearing the words awakening, enlightenment, it can actually produce a lot of anxiety and angst and suffering from those words. That's what it does. Yeah. Yet, let's say there's another possibility. You're about as done as you can be done without being dead in some respects. You've realized the futility of certain endeavors. You've gone through the years of blaming yourself and trying different, formulas and going to this teacher and that teacher. You finally come to some kind of vicinity of, hey, the seekers has to be the sort. I mean, I have to be what I'm looking for. And then why isn't that becoming obvious? There must be something going on that's causing it not to be clear. Yeah, there you go. Then here you come to this Zoom, and maybe there'll be someone, whoever it may be or whatever it may be, will start explaining and sharing observations of that activity of obscuring, with the hopes not that the action figure travel light, that will be a byproduct, but it will be heard from what you are, not from what you're not. I feel like it's a disservice if what you're not constantly leaves these meetings as the one who attended the meetings. I do. Because it's not helpful for you at all, really. What you're not, trying to use nothing to get an advantage is going to be very frustrating. For what you're not, it's going to be really frustrating, because you can think you intellectually know it, you can think you got it, you think, oh, I understand it, and yet you're looking for that. You're still looking. Suddenly, where's the stabilization? Where's the bliss, the peace? Yes, I'm not getting what I thought. Yeah. It's like being in a car and you got a straight of nothing. That's the winning hand, really. That's the winning hand. I ran into a guy when I first doing talks in Toronto. He came in, he had so much knowledge from his eyebrow up, yeah? And he started talking to me, really totally bummed out and everything. And I told him, don't come back to the next session. Go to a freaking soup kitchen and help somebody, not someone in your family, but a stranger. You'll be better off for that than sitting at another one of these talks. It's not serving you. Yeah, so.
Good to know.
I'm not speaking to, I stopped speaking to whoever was there in the square. I'm just sharing. It's definitely not personal. It's just the way these systems work. I remember, again, it was funny, one of the first things I did was on a thing called Urban Guru Cafe from Australia. Yeah, a lady got in touch with me. I didn't know anything about it, and she did a interview. And so I went to Urban Guru Cafe, and then they had other people who had spoken, and I started looking at the commentary, and it was like dueling. If you said the word I or me, you were fucking out. Oh, there's a sense of, it was unbelievable. It was like a non-dual minefield. No one could make it through. Fucking adopt some and language. Yes. So, it was insane. So I said they would have a field day with me because I don't give a damn. I don't give a shit about the letter of the law. I want the spirit of the law. I used to call them non-dual Pharisees. Yeah. They had all the fucking words correct, but I didn't want what they had. Yeah, whatever. I got a riff there. Yeah. All right. Another question? Who will dare?
Mike Cervini is next.
Oh, Mike. Yes. All right. Thank you, Geraldine. Stay with it. Yeah. Mike, I don't know where you are.
Oh, here we go. Hey, Paul. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yes. I'm trying to locate you in the squares. I know there's an easier way to do this, but. All right, go ahead, Mike. Yeah.
So I guess for me, what used to frustrate me a lot was like some of the other non-dual teachers would say, you have to want enlightenment more than you want anything. And then when I would hear that message, it was heard from the action figure. So it'd be like, yeah, okay. And then like 20 minutes later, I'd be on to something else because I'd kind of forget and it was fake. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But it still happens sometimes. It's like Lee was saying, there's something more? I mean, I'm traveling a lot lighter, but is there still something more that I'm missing? Maybe I don't want awakening more than I want anything else, but how the fuck do you manufacture that? I mean, I don't even understand that. Any comments?
Yeah. So let's say when I was first out there, in spiritual seeking, I wanted to be liberated. Yeah. Liberation. But now what happened was I lost any need to be liberated.
Right.
I have.
Yeah.
Yeah. That to me is the liberation from the need to be liberated. The liberation is from more. Not more. The liberation is from more. Yeah. You lose interest. Yeah.
And that's happened quite a bit.
Yeah.
Not
it's like
completely.
for me, it's sort of like it seems so foreign, so it took a while, but it's like an atmosphere of acceptance. Yeah. I accept like before, when I thought I was this, it was like an urban renewal project. I had to work on it and get it better, to do more, It was slavery, really. When I saw I wasn't this, what happened is acceptance started to formulate. And I'm not as thrived in a field of acceptance. It really has. I mean, it's much nicer. It's a much nicer garden for it. Yeah. And you can't, I don't know you can't like map out how to arrive at these places. Something occurs and then you see them being expressed. Yeah. And then that hope of all hope, stabilization even occurs. Yeah. But never by wanting it to stabilize. Yeah.
Right.
You just lose interest, and then you gain interest in, like, Jesus Christ, there's tons of things to gain interest in all day, yeah? All the while, the interest rests in what you are. To me, interest and attention, undirected by the mental state, is presence, yeah? Interest and attention, which has landed in everywhere, has a quality of rest, not of quality of things, yeah? It has a quality of no thing, let's say. I just don't see how, if you heard this message that you can't use the Buddha to seek the Buddha, and you heard it as the Buddha, or from there'd be a lot of stopping of shit, yeah? It would be more of a disarmament than an armament, yeah?
And that has happened quite a bit, but maybe not completely leveled off yet.
Bro, that's awesome, man. Let's have some gratitude, yeah, in a way. I know you do, and I do. And it's just a nice thing, instead of, oh, well, just raise the target. No, hey, thank you. This is more than enough, yeah? I mean, you never get gypped. I'm here every second of every day. You're here completely, sleeping, awake, here completely. Yeah, that's like, if that was a super infrequent experience, it would be sought after for lives, yeah, for lifetimes. But it's always available at all times, yeah, right where we are, with no requirement necessary to meet it. Being that, to the mental state, it has no value, really. Because the mental state wants to become, doesn't want to be, wants more, not enough, yes?
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
And
I spot that a lot.
So when there's a wanting of more, there's not a you that's wanting more. There's a wanting of more that's claimed to imply there's a you. That's what happens. The seeking claimed is the bondage of the seeker. Seeking, we're doing seeking all day. I'm seeking a quicker way to get out of this talk right now. Right? So they're seeking all the time. The bondage isn't in seeking or more or less, it's the one. Yeah. Because the one has opinions about wanting more, has beliefs about this shit. Yeah. It's like a mental catacomb. There's levels of shit, beliefs, this and that, yes? And then once you identify with it, you're attached in a way. The image gets attached to all these ideas. So most people think they're moving towards shit. They don't see they're actually moving towards shit because they're wanting to move away from shit. It's the basic dualistic low and high tide of this whole place. Most people's moving away and they make a whole story about, oh, I have this total nobility of going towards this. They're fucking moving away from something. There's some belief or something in there that they don't want any part of, so now they're moving towards something else, yeah? Those things are going on all day. Why do we have to stick out emblem in every freaking movement?
I don't know. I guess that's just what happens. I don't know, but that's good what you said. It kind of landed a little bit.
Yeah. So I want more pie, you know. I want, you know, but I don't care. I don't sit there and go, I got to ask who wants more pie. But this other stuff, I want more enlightenment. Well, Jesus Christ. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is. More.
It's not us. So you'll lose interest in it. And if you lose interest in it, its effects on you weaken. Yeah. And then you realize it's all from us. We're giving it all the meaning it has. Yes? Yeah. But I'm really happy to see everyone, actually, because for the action figure, it gives it a certain purpose, yeah? Which it feels better. It does. Who feels better? I don't care. It feels better, yeah? So I'm happy that I have all these squares in front of me. And I would say I'm in complete acceptance because I don't want anyone who's here not to be here, and I don't want anyone who's not to be here. Except a few people.
Thanks, Paul.
Oh, you're welcome, man.
Thanks, Mike. We got Ginny next.
Jenny.
Hi. Look, I think you've already answered my question, Paul, about with Sky, I think.
Oh, great.
Yeah, so it was just really, there's been a struggle, with anxiety and depression and things. But, I realize it's the action figure and claiming that. And, it's the action figure that's agitated and I guess, I suppose, yeah, that question's sort of been answered, but when you recognize that it's the action figure, then that's that's the end of the question, really. But if you wanted to comment further on that, that would be great.
One thing I want to see, if something's really, really seemingly bothering the action figure, don't try to feed it, well, it's just the action figure. Take a walk, get distracted. Yeah. Don't let this little game of sacrifice occur. The head would love, all right, so it gets a rigid idea about the principle of non-duality. And then it's like basically withholding any kind of help to the action figure and trying to feed it a philosophy that's not working. Yeah. You know what I mean? So take a walk if you're feeling bad. Yeah. Just because you're not that which is feeling bad doesn't mean it's not going to be addressed by that. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's where the skillful means comes in. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
This isn't like non-duality isn't sacrifice. Yeah. It's sort of not. I find the subtlety of this gets a lot of my friends, people I speak with a lot, so they're like, I would get calls from someone who had just had a breakup, and it would go on for like 15 minutes because he was really sort of distraught. Him that he wasn't, the action figure, but he was saying, well, there is no Paul, and there was no Mary to leave Paul, and on, and it didn't go anywhere. And then he just started to cry, and that was what was really needed, at the moment. Yes?
Yes.
Yeah, it wasn't like, I'm not Bill or whatever, so I've got to be stoic. It's all, that's all only.
Yeah, well, it's like, I guess, kind of honoring what's, honoring the obvious, what's happening, Yeah.
It's like when in Rome, you do as the Romans do. Or as Jesus says, you render unto Caesar's what's Caesar's. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just because you're not of this place doesn't mean there aren't effects in this place. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And
It's
use
a dangerous road. I've seen people who needed help. It's like when some people they realize, let's say, they get the intellectual idea of non-duality and there is no person. Then the mental state's weird logic kicks in. Well, if there is no person, then there's no alcoholic, and then they start drinking, and now they're drunk non-dualists. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So this
I mean,
is, or like, it's, let's say if someone is awake and they had diabetes, would they stop taking insulin? No, the body needs it, so they would keep taking insulin. This whole thing with the head's unbelievable, really. It just keeps, it can't see anything other than how it pertains to itself. Yes.
yeah, like that story you told about the probiotics was quite funny.
Yeah, it wasn't for me at the time.
No, but in hindsight, yeah.
Yeah, well, I had tons of those events. I mean, I set off on a certain direction, I produced opposite effects. And after years of blaming everyone else, I finally saw my role in it somewhat. And in seeing my role in it, it took me even farther to somewhere else. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, there is, I guess, you know, that there is a place for skillful means. And, you know, hopefully one day you won't need to dip into that bag or, you know, use that toolkit, so to speak.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but when you need to, you need to.
Yes, there's a fluidity with it, hopefully, yeah. But see, the one dilemma you have to see, I remember I was in the Course in Miracles, and I thought the body was the main dilemma. So there was a lesson in the Course that I used to chant, which is, I am not a body, I am free, I am as that which God created, whatever, I forgot the words now. And then in hindsight, I saw that if I had like a 3-day retreat and we're going to chant I'm not a body, the only thing that's going to be chanting I'm not a body is a body. You see? So the body wants to get out of the body experience by chanting it's not a body. It's insane. So the same thing with non-duality. The selfing wants to say it's not a selfing to get out of some shit. Yeah. But it's more in. Yeah. That's an out reinforces the in. You see, that's a paper mache out that reinforces the in. The out before the in is what we're speaking of. Yeah, we're speaking of the out that's before the in, not as a result. Yeah, in other words, I'm in something terribly, and I'm going to get out of it. No, this is seeing you're not in it. Yeah, it's not negating what's happening. It's negating the idea that it's happening to anyone specifically. Yes, that's the message. Yeah. Once the in gets reinforced or is assumed to be so, then there's all these things of how to get out, which reinforce the in. We're not speaking about methods of getting out of what you're in. We're questioning, are you in? Yeah. That's where the whole, and we hopefully end there. We start there and end there.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm trying to just join the meeting with my my 2 little ones. So it's just a little bit of movement happening. So anyway, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Yeah.
Thanks, Danny. We have our friend Nor next.
Nor, you're right next to Jenny, so.
Oh, fun.
Hey,
Hey,
right
Bob.
below,
Hey, all.
Yep.
What's that?
Go ahead. I was just telling your square mates.
Yeah.
He knows to you. I can see it all.
Woo.
This is like if God had Match.com. This is what it would be like. You're going to be with him, and her's going to be there. Unbeknownst to the square.
My squares are all over the place, so I don't know why you have a limited one.
All right, go ahead, bro.
So life is God, right?
I don't know. Life is nice. I like that.
Like the world, the body, all these things we think are things, they're not things either.
Well, hopefully we'll all find that out, yes. There's a difference, you know, when I state something and when I find out something. And there's a difference when I find out something and then state something. There's different flavor, yeah? So I just like, life is cool. But again, the no thing and the thing as a topic for the thing to entertain doesn't work for me. So I just want to keep speaking about what we're not, because I know it gets through to what we are.
Right.
That's the whole point. Yeah. It's never not been that point. And it's not the words, obviously. It's not the questions. It's not the answers. Hopefully there's something like you could call it, poetically, an ancient echo, let's say, of no time, that all of us, yeah, vibrate with, and we hope to hit those notes, yeah? So that gets triggered, and then there's a holding about what's being said about what you're not as you are, yeah? That's the change of currency, so to speak. The interest the interest in what you're not is just recognizing it as just that. Then all the interest again now shifts to what you are, seeing what you're not, yeah.
You know, I think this is parallel to the I concern that was coming up. When I hear people talk about the dreaming, and I hear people talk about the action figure, I'm seeing now these are just words you use because of the way perception gets used, but the body isn't an action figure. The body's just the body.
Yes.
Life isn't a dream, except as when it's caught up, but it's the life itself isn't a dream.
No, I see this appearance here is to me dreaming, yes. I don't think there's a real world. I think what's seeing is real. I don't think what's seen is real, other than in its essence, yes. In its emptiness, yes. But that's just a belief coming from lots of observations.
Well, I always keep it in mind, so.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't exclude anyone seeing things any way they see it. I mean, that's the uniqueness of the artistry here. But sitting here in this seat assignment, sometimes I gotta say something when I don't agree with it in a way, because, yeah, I don't believe there's a real life. Yeah, yeah. I mean, how can something be real, let's say, if it doesn't last? I mean, I've died a few times, and I have a distinct, I came back with some stuff, and I came back with the idea that this has never really happened, really. This is dreaming. That's just my take on it. It doesn't preclude or advance anything. It's just something that's entertained that way. Yeah.
Yeah.
The whole premise of our message is just to see, meaning being aware of and stuff, what you're not. and find out what you are. Or instead of, because I found that what was happening is I was looking for what I am from what I'm not. I had no idea, but that's sort of how the emphasis was laid out. And so we're just hoping to see it in a different way, which is let's be seeing what we're not from what we are, instead of looking for what we are from what we're not. That's the whole enchilada in this activity. Yeah. Some people call me and say, "Oh, everyone, you say the exact same thing as everyone else." Well, when I was hearing other people, they weren't saying this. They were emphasizing or describing what I am, like consciousness and this and that. And I was wondering why it wasn't working. Yeah. Or it's like the old story of, yeah, this person was telling me about being a lion. It sounded good. I liked it. I wanted it to be so, but I was hearing it as a sheep, which I was unaware of. Yeah. So I was confused why the message, I'm a lion, wasn't really landing. And then things got revealed, and I saw some stuff that I felt was going on unnoticed quite a lot. And I figured something that's running this whole show for me, with me, just stopped me there. And I never left that point, to tell you the truth, because I see it's pointless to leave that point. I do, because that same thing may be the dominant event again. The selfing will claim what it comes in contact with and use it to imply the one that you're not. And it was very helpful for me, in a sense, to see it. And so I have a humble expectation it's helpful for others. Yeah. And maybe they're being okay and content and peaceful won't be put off from some noble endeavor of leaving a inhospitable, what's that word? Inhospitable. I missed it, but a certain reference point with the hopes that this other reference point is going to have all those qualities I'd like. That's a magical fucking journey. Yeah. This message allowed no time to be put up between that and the availability of that. Yeah. I don't want to be content. I am content. I don't want to be satisfied. I am satisfied. I don't want to be peaceful. I am peaceful. Yeah. That's it for me. Yeah.
Great to see you. I do look forward to our physical meetings happening again someday, but
yes, hopefully.
This is fun too in its way.
Yeah, it's cool.
I really like getting coffee together afterwards. It's very lonely to drink my own
coffee anymore.
Yeah.
I'm not drinking. Well, no.
You're not even drinking it, huh?
No.
Yeah. Yeah, I was wondering about that. What you're doing for your
I'm
coffee.
just looking at pictures of espressos and lattes. I've been indulging in coffee porn the last few weeks. Yes. No. All right. So yeah, the next 5 people.
Yeah, Glenda is next. Thanks, Nora.
Nice to see you, Nora. Yeah. Oh, Glenda?
Hi, Paul.
Oh, that's Glenda from Ireland.
Yes, that's right.
Yes.
Yeah, tonight's call is brilliant as always.
Can you? I can't hear you, honey. You gotta.
Can you hear me now?
Very low.
Is that better?
No, but I can hear you. No.
Is that better?
No, you were good at the beginning. Something happened.
Hello?
I can hear you a little. Give me the question, hon.
Okay. I was wondering, you've been talking about it a bit there, about the interest and attention. I've been noticing that the narration a lot more, and I see see the policeman is coming in and going, whoa, there's the noticing. But I feel this peace kind of underneath it all, even so I can see the policeman is saying that I'm seeing the narration and to go to the peace. It's like, I feel like my brain is telling me to go to the peace, but I'm still feeling the peace underneath it. So I was wondering if I'm on the right track or not.
Yes.
Okay.
A good diagnosis.
Okay.
Go for the gold. Rest in peace.
I'm out of here.
Rest in peace, yes.
Can I ask you one other question? Just a really quick one.
All right.
Were you afraid of like dying at any part of this?
Yes, but I wasn't, thank God. The action figure was very afraid.
Yes.
Quite a lot. I had like a 9-month panic attack.
But you did it. You didn't do it, but
wasn't enjoyable. No. No. But you know, that's all random. Yes, there's no randomness in that. The mechanical state is that the mental state is mechanical, and its main drive is the act of claiming. That's not random. That's what's happening. Yeah. Effects of getting relieved from that can be random as action figures. Yes. So some people, Kundalini, others, just dog shit awareness, can look a lot of thousands of different ways. But what we're speaking of is not random. It's mechanical. Yeah. And it's very, very fast. So the assuming of you takes very little time. Yeah. And when the assuming of you is presented, it presents a historicalness to it. Yeah. So when there's an assuming of you, that assuming, it says you've been that you forever, for 40 years, 50 years. Yes. Yeah. So it's like a magic trick. And that magic trick happens after the claiming. Yes. The product of it. Claiming is part of the magic trick. Time's brought in. And then suddenly the idea of you, has arisen, yes? And then it's presupposed to be before everything. That's happening very, very fast, yeah? Just looking at it mechanically, there's no other mechanism that's gonna beat that mechanism, yeah? There's no breathing exercise can get you before that, yeah? So you have to see something. You have to see what you're not. You're never going to get out of you as you, but you've never been in you. That's the beauty. That's the good news, yeah? Because if something would have to be produced, it could easily be unproduced, yeah? But that's not the fact of non-duality. The fact of non-duality is the questioning of the subject-objectness, yeah? And seeing you're neither. You're not the object that's being thought about all day, nor are you the thinking of it all day, yeah? The identification goes both ways. There's an identification as the one that's thinking about the body, then there's an identification as the body being thought about. So we're in a strange little like shaker of subject-object. The mental state is, yes? We're not of that. That's the message. Doesn't mean it's not noticed. Doesn't mean it can't have an effect here. If we're entertaining it, it can. It doesn't mean anything. It means it's not you. That's what it means, yeah? I'm not that. And then see how the chips fall. And you just explained, you're feeling peace and shit like that. What more do you want, honey?
well, my mind was telling me that it could be my mind tricking me still.
Well, no, just rest. Just rest in it, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. the head wants you to arrive somewhere, and as soon as you get there, wants to push you off to another departure, doesn't it?
Yes.
Crucifies you because you haven't arrived. When you finally arrive, it's packing and getting ready to go. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. It's
Sanity.
it's it's saying I can't do it, and I know I can't, but it's there.
It's slavery. Hey, it's so weird. Oh, yeah. Let's say there was a giant pool of peace, and you were sitting on the edge going, oh, but will it be there tomorrow? Oh, I do deserve it. Oh, it could be a mirage. Oh, fucking jump in. Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't need a dissertation for that. Just if you start going for it, that faith that's in what you're not will move, yeah, to what you are. Yes. And then you won't be needing its authority to tell you everything's okay. You'll have it in your gut. Yes?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So okay, I'm moving on from you, honey. You're doing great. You're in the lead.
Thank you.
You're in the lead, everyone.
Yes.
The stabilized, doing okay square line. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
All right.
And,
Roman
yeah,
there.
who's
Roman
next?
how are you, Roman? Nice to see you, bro. All right. Who's the next one?
James.
James? All right, James, where are you?
Next page, next page from the one you were before.
James. Oh, James. My the stand-in for Gandalf.
Yeah. You're part of my hair club, dude. It's.
Oh yeah, you got a good hair. You got a good whatever.
I got a good program I'm about to package and sell. So.
That's right. What you got, white on white. It's nice. Yeah, I like that. Yeah. It demonstrates a huge wisdom.
Yes, it really does reflect a degree of wisdom.
Just need a robe.
I started at a 200.
A robe and some sitar music, you'd have a new business.
I did that, but now because of the whole pandemic, I had to let go.
Right. Well, it'll come back.
And
don't cut that hair, bro. Don't cut the hair.
I'm actually there was a time I wanted to be a poor man's Paul Hedderman, and the hair was part of the whole thing. But,
hey, I'm the poor man's Paul Hedderman.
Yeah.
I haven't left that level.
But anyway, I just figured I'd keep the hair, even though I gave up trying to do that. And something inspired me to want to say something, but as always, by now it's gone. So. But I will say that
what's working.
I know.
It's working.
Is like the action figure had to be heard for a second, but by now it doesn't. So that's. And
yeah.
You use that. Do you still use the? Do you still use the analogy of spiritual sperm? Do you use that still?
In certain theaters, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I forgot all about the spiritual sperm, but
yeah, I have some funny T-shirt ideas for that. But anyway, yeah, I'm not the only one though who went through recovery and then found Course of Miracles and went on a non-duality rabbit hole and then tried to use it on the girlfriend dumping him and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I know I said this before, but you were my intervention to kind of like chill out and let some of that seeking rest and stop burning so much battery power trying to find what I am. You know what I mean? And I have to say that I still look for skillful means to try to not get caught up in a big thought thing, but still the spectrum is way less, it's just gotten a little, and so for that I'm so grateful. Because it's the spectrum that's, you know what I mean? Where the real extreme acting out of the action figure gets really, he likes the extremes, and in the middle is where it seems to be easier to recognize that at work. Anyway, I had some super big wisdom bomb to drop on everybody, but I lost it, so.
That's okay, James. I'm putting the healthy square section.
Did I make the healthy? I made the healthy square. That was what I was trying to.
You're number 4, but you're moving up with a bullet. Yeah.
That's okay. That's okay. I started out around 16.
I'm going to give you the final square set. I'm going to line up everyone in a pyramid-like square.
Well, I'm single, so you can hook me up with some non-dual.
Who are the ones that need the most help?
Yeah, well, put me in there, because that's where
No, you're up with Lee and everyone. Yeah, you're in there.
Ruh-roh. Okay,
yeah,
thank you, Paul.
Good, yeah, James. You're good, definitely. Yeah.
Thanks, James.
You're going to play me in the movie, James. You're going to play me in the movie. Yeah, definitely.
I got to get in shape still, though. You know what I mean? I have to.
You're going to get killed at the end, though.
I know. Well, that's okay.
You're going to get killed.
The spiritual sperm, I'm going to get.
You've never been alive anyway, so it'll be fine.
Thank you.
All right. Nice to see you, Jake.
Yeah, friend Senna.
Senna?
Hi, Paul.
Hey, Senna.
Hi. My question is, well, I was under the impression that nothing is real, but you said the seeing is real?
Yes.
What seeing is real?
Well, what seeing is nothing.
So nothing is real.
Yes.
Okay, thanks. That was it.
Oh, that was good. You're up in the good squares now, Senna. Yeah, you're in the brevity is a virtue square. Yeah, we'll put you up there. All right, we'll take one more, or we can just.
Yeah, no more hands. I know Sean was showing his hand if he's still around, but he took it down.
All right, that's great. Let's take a look at everybody and. Oh yes, here we are. From Amsterdam, I see you vaguely. You look like you're underwater. Oh, there he is. Nice to meet you, Tom. Linus, yes. Mike, David. So we're doing some AA stuff with from London. Every Tuesdays and Thursday at 10:30, we're on the steps. We're going to do step 5 and 6 Tuesday. And then Wednesday night, we're going to move it till 7 o'clock.
Is
Not
that London time? Paul?
What?
London time?
No, 10:30 our time, my time.
Okay.
Yeah. And 7 o'clock on Wednesday night Pacific time. We're moving it halfway down, half an hour, because so some people from Germany and stuff, can stay up. And New York, Long Island. I gotta be there for my Long Island folks. All right, and let me see, Lee, you're in that good square line now. You're in good shape. Yeah, let me see, Maggie. Yeah, just you already you're already ready for the hospital. So we're putting you in the intensive care unit. Keith, you're in the Keith, you're in the morgue squares. We're throwing you in the morgue. Yeah, you're already done. James, good. James, very good. Luis, nice to see you. Barbara and Roman, lovely Diana, Glenda, Jenny, yeah. Nor, Dimitri, Sarah. Nice to see you, Sarah. Very comfortable. You don't look, Linda, you need to get a shave. Linda, you got a little strong growth there. Stop those hormones. James, nice to see you with your lovely child. Shaza Sukanya, Macaulay. Yes, sorry, I said your last name. No one's gonna get in touch with you. Mike, Donna, favorite. Dennis, thank you for all the support. Mario, nice to see you. Senna, Randy, you're still sort of either laying on walls or under a wall. You got Howard, nice
Long
to see
story.
you from Oklahoma. Ashley, looking comfortable. Geraldine, Fritz, Shailene, thank you for the questions. I'm gonna run out soon. Izzy's nice. She's our great host in LA. We love Izzy. Ricardo, my friend Yari, yeah, from Wednesday. We got Art some kind. He's in Santa Fe somewhere, I think. Sean, looking like I sort of lost you there a second. Joyce,
Hey.
your square moved to another level of square by not asking any questions. You've been moved up.
Oh,
It's
thank
moving
you.
up.
Finally, I'm
Continue
learning.
with the vow of silence.
Me too.
I
Me
sound
too.
smarter if I
Minerva,
use my mouth.
Luce, this one here. Let's see. Oh, she's Sydney. Oh, got just laying there. She's in great shape. Yeah, we know Sydney. How are you? Chris over there. Nice to see you, Chris. Trying to go over everybody. I'm not gonna make it though. Nick, my friend of.
Hey, Paul, I think you said you were done with questions. We had one more request.
Right.
My daughter Amina, my better half here.
Oh, hello. How are you?
Say hi, Amina. She's shy.
Judy.
She wanted to know if she could see your Buddha tattoo.
See my Buddha tattoo. Where are you? You want to see my Buddha tattoo? Hey. Oh, hold on. Can't let everyone see everything.
You get a special show today.
Location. Here you go. Is this working? Can you see it?
Yeah. See it?
I wanted 5 Buddhas, but I don't have
Settle for
any
4.
Schwarzenegger arms, so only got. Yes. There's no Munir. Nice to see you. John. All these folks. They're all leaving now. Steve. Nice to see you, Steve.
Hey, Paul, when will there be mugs and t-shirts?
When will there be what?
Mugs and t-shirts.
They're not up there now?
I didn't see them.
Go to paulhedderman.com.
Oh, I was on Zen Bitch Slap.
Yeah, go to paulhedderman, myname.com, and there's shirts and mugs and everything.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Good. Yeah, thank you. It's nice to see everyone. And so, all right, we're going to...
Thank you, Paul.
Cheers, Paul. Thank you.
We'll see you on
Thanks, Paul.
Wednesday, I hope.
Thanks, man.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Mike. Good
Thanks,
job.
everyone.
Nice to hear you, Paul. Nice to hear you.
Yeah.
Take care. Love you, Paul.
Next week, I'll show you another tattoo.
Yeah. On your ass.
We're doing the Tuesdays and Thursdays too. Thank you very much for that.
Well, that's only for the platinum squares.
Thanks for the Tuesdays and Thursdays as well.
What?
Thanks for the Tuesdays and Thursdays too.
Oh, yeah,
They're
thank
just
you. Yes.
amazing.
So
Enjoying that.
it's been great.
Yeah, keep coming back and let's all travel lightly together. Yes?
Hey, Paul, do you want to do the serenity prayer?
So you want to do Serenity Prayer now?
Yeah, the we form.
Oh, yeah. Anyone who wants to? Yeah, let's go. The we version of Serenity Prayer is God.
God, grant us the serenity
to
accept
things we cannot change, the wisdom
courage to change the things we can,
the things we
and the
can,
wisdom to know the
and the wisdom to know the difference. Amen, man.
We go, keep coming back. It doesn't work. See?
Bye, all.
Paul?
Yeah.
Hey,
Bye.
Paul?
Yes?
I think Mike Z and a couple of us were talking that if anybody wanted to stay on afterwards and just sort of like having coffee afterwards
Yeah.
and just chat.
All right. Yeah, definitely. As long as Mike wants to keep the room open.
Mike, are you still open to that?
Yeah, no problem. I'll stop recording now though. And
Yes, I'll come back. I'm just going to step out for